Hey there, welcome back. So now we know few things about Java generics, right? And here is a program which we have already coded. This code is from one of our previous videos where we have checked that a list of object can contain anything, right? So in here we also have this class by the name of names. So in here we have the object of names class, we have a integer, we have a double entity, we have a character, and this list is all okay with it. Moreover, we also have this print list method which is printing the information which is there in the list, and this program works properly. Now as we know that making use of object isn't that good idea, now we will convert the same program using Java generics. We will try to create one list, and using the list we will definitely store any information using the object of a generic class. So let's get started. Alright, so let me get rid of this class names, and in place of names we will type in a new class. The name of the class would be like data. We will add in the type as t-type, and inside this class we will have a property by the name of my variable maybe, and the type of the variable would be t, right? So based on the generic type we will create this object my variable. Alright, and based on this variable we will have a constructor. So I will navigate to source and create a constructor based on this variable. Let's create a getter for the same as well, which we will require. And moving forward we will also add in a toString method. Alright, so this is the usual stuff, and here is the class which is in front of us. Alright, so now let's proceed further and check out the app class. In here we have this list of object. Now we won't require the list of object, rather we will take help of list of data. So in here we will say list of data, and let us get rid of all of these elements. And inside this add method we will create an object of data type, right? So let's do that. So I will type in data, and the data could be of any type. For example, type could be string, some text. Let me copy this and let me paste it in here couple of times in fact. So firstly we have added a string, then we can add a maybe double, then we can add some integer, then some character maybe, and finally let us also add a floating point entity which would be like 5.0f. Again this is okay. Now as we can see that there is no runtime error in this part of the code, and the reason being data is a generic class and the object of data can contain any type of information, which is cool, right? But there are some warnings. Now let us get rid of these warnings first. So if we check this code, then there is no error as such, but there is couple of warnings, and if we hover upon this warning then it will say data is a raw type, reference to generic type data t should be parameterized. Now if we hover upon and then click on this error, then there are a couple of fixes, and if we click on this fix infer generic type argument, then in fact nothing happens. And in order to fix this issue we need to explicitly do something, and the thing is that we need to specify the type of data which will be the data for this t type. Now friends, there is a catch in here. If we want to store any type of data in an object of data type, getting my point? If we want to store any type of data in this variable my variable, then definitely we need to give the type as object. So in here I will type an object, and as soon as I do this the error vanished, right? And similarly if I click on this, then there are a couple of options. We can click on this option infer generic type argument, and as soon as we do this nothing happens again. Let me check this particular option. Alright, so this works. In fact we need to also apply the type when we are creating an object of data type. Now all of these warnings will vanish. Now again we are making use of object, which isn't that good idea, but using object is good when the situation is similar to this, when we know that we would be storing any type of data. So in those kind of scenario, we are making use of object, which is good as if now. I will come to this point in couple of minutes. Alright, so now we have this print list method which we need to fix. So let's fix it. Now moving forward, we will update the type of the list in our print list method. Let me copy this type real quick, and the type would be type of data, and the data is of type object. So little confusing, but this is how we will give the list, and we need to also update the type for list iterator, and this should work. And now if we check, there are no warnings as such, and if we execute the program, we are able to get the output, which is perfect. Now friends, the data which we are receiving in our output isn't in a very good format. So let's do something about it. Currently we are making use of this toString method, right? Now moving forward, let's make use of this getter method. That would be better. So in here, when we are making use of this next method inside our while loop, then we are in fact getting the object of data type. And if we are getting the object of data type, we can also call in the getter method. So I will type in dot and call in the get my variable method. And now if I execute the program, the output is better. So we are able to retrieve the information, and the data is of different format. It could be text, it could be double, integer, character, or a floating point number, which is good. And the information in this list is of any type. But the usage of these generic classes goes further than this. This is the usual stuff where we want to store any type of information in the list, which is cool, and the type which we have given as object, which is okay. But imagine we want to restrict some list in some specific scenario. For example, in here the data we want to be only in string format. Then how we will implement that? The answer is pretty simple. We will specify the type of the data, and this isn't typecasting. This would be more efficient than typecasting. So in here we will simply type in a string, and as soon as we type in a string, we are getting these compile time error, which is fantastic because runtime error are not good, right? Now friends, you guys might be thinking that a list of simple string could have be also a solution for this scenario. Now the answer is a list of an object of data type or a generic class type could be beneficial because we have couple of advantages. The advantages are that when we receive the information, we can process this in our class itself. We can have sophisticated methods in there. We can do some automated processing on the data, and there are multiple things which we can do in a generic class. Moreover, a generic class could be used throughout your program, and that implies a specific standardization in your program itself. So this convention is a very good convention as well, and when you will grow old in programming, you will understand that this approach is a very good approach as well. Definitely list of string is not bad option as well. It's all about preferences, the architecture of your software, and the situation of your program. So that's it. But moving forward, let's understand that how to handle situation when we have a generic class and a list of generic class where we apply some restrictions. So in here we have applied some restrictions, and there are some compile time error, which is fantastic. And in order to fix the compile time error, we need to update the type in here as well. Now in here, when we have changed these type, the first statement is perfect because the data which we are passing is in the format of a string, so there is no issue. But as soon as we are trying to pass on some other type of information, there is again compile time error, which is again good for type safety. Why? Because in compile time we are getting the error, and we need to fix this error before building or running this application, which is good, right? So let me add some random text in here, like 1 2 3 4 for demonstration purposes. This is a good text. Alright, so this looks good to me. Definitely we need to make some changes in print list as well, so let me do that. And note that in here there is no typecasting required. We are doing without typecasting, which is again good. And I will also show you some operations and those operation could be based on integer maybe. So let's do one more thing. Let's convert this to integer real quick, and again there would be an issue, and let me fix these issues. And now I will pass in 1, then 2, then 3. Let me pause this video and do these changes. Alright, so here are the data, which is again good. And again, let's change this print list method. This will again work properly. Look how easily we are able to change the data type of the list and add information, which is good. And again, let us execute the program. The output is perfect. And for example, if I try to perform some operation, again we need not to worry about typecasting. It's perfectly alright because the data type is already specified and we are not making use of any typecasting. So the performance of the application would be also better, and the output should be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, which is perfect. So this is all about today's video, where we have dig deep into generics, and definitely there is more to generics and we will explore more on Java generics. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.